Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want to talk to you about one traumatic issue. I work in as a social worker, and we talk a lot about trauma. Trauma, or there's a program called ACE, which is something. It's acronym for something, but dealing with childhood trauma. When you live in a lower income, marginalized neighborhood, which I did, you see a lot of trauma in some form and facet or fashion. When I was a kid, it wasn't considered trauma. It considered part of life, but I look back, I'm like, yo, that was pretty dangerous. One situation was I was at a grocery store with my mom, and we were shopping, and this girl who was pregnant was cut and sliced open, or stabbed, not sliced but stabbed. From my childhood, I didn't see it, I just saw the aftermath. And the aftermath was she was bloody, she was pregnant, and she was on the conveyor belt, and they were trying to attend her. So the guy stabbed her, and then from my childhood memory, he left the scene. And that was a very traumatic situation that I saw as a kid, and it stayed in my mind and my heart. Like, trauma is real, and I always talk about you never want to experience trauma. Let's be honest. Trauma is going to be all around, no matter what. Trauma is always going to be there. You just want to do your best. You want to do your best to minimize trauma. Living in a better neighborhood does minimize trauma, despite what people think. But it's not. You can't shield them from everything. You can put them in a Christian school. You can home train them. Homeschool. I hope they have home training, but school them, and you cannot shield them from everything. There's some trauma they just going to experience, but you really want to do what you can to prepare them for life and safety. And for me, as a dad of a girl, I want to make sure that she's safe, which means I have her in martial arts, which means from my perspective, she's gonna be a tough girl. Like, she's gonna be girly and hey friends, but she's gonna be able to draw a rear naked choke. And I'm teaching her how to do a rear naked choke. So I'm preparing her for the real world as best as I can. There's some things I won't be able to stop. I won't be able to stop, sexism, racism. But I can train her that she won't be a victim. So, believe it or not, some of my childhood trauma has to do with being in dangerous situations and feeling defenseless, like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't protect my mom, or I could not stop certain situations, which hence have led me into martial arts, has spearheaded me as an adult to be safe in all facets. which is self-defense, which is less lethal, which is martial arts, which is situational awareness, which is not being a victim or a bully. Be able to defend yourself with your words, and then at the end results, use your hands. So that is important to me, to make sure, that that's not going to, or I'm going to try my best not to allow. And I always, I have to train you in such a way if something happens to me, and if the Lord decide that it's my time, as long as I can, make sure she as strong as she can possibly be. Which it's gonna come to, I'm gonna teach her how to do guns, less lethal, weaponry, guns. Eventually, when the place I train allow kids to be trained, I'm going to do all those things, so she will not be a victim. And being a victim starts here, and I'm going to teach her not to be a victim here. So we do a disjustice. We teach our boys to be tough, and do our girls, just tell the police, which most of the time they're not available anyway. Find somebody. If somebody mess with you, you are the last line defense, and because you're a girl, it's irrelevant. You have the skills, either if that's Salat, Eskrima, jiu-jitsu, boxing, anything. You're not going to be a victim. I'm going to teach you as much as I can, almost like The Accountant. You remember that movie, The Accountant? The dad had both those boys train with that martial artist, and they did it over and over again. Now, I'm not to that extreme. The dad was a little hardcore, but as long as I possibly can, I'm going to teach her to, you're going to be safe. You're not going to be a victim, and you're not going to be a Me Too movement. And it's nothing wrong with Me Too, but you're not going to be the person defending for your life. No. You're going to be the one that's going to control that situation. So that's all I want to say. Have a good one.